Hi and welcome back to Dusty Book Sniffers. I'm Nicole and today we're here for my next instalment in the Read Around the World Challenge. So let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I prattle on about the books that I have read. So today we are here for my Read Around the World Challenge, and I am going to be talking about Musical Youth by Joanne C. Hillhouse. This is for Antigua that I am doing this review on, and this was a YA book that had 280 pages that was first published back in 2014, and it was published by Caribbean Reads, and as I said, this is a YA. I gave it 3 stars, and I read it on Kindle. So a lot of my Read Around the World Books Challenge will be on Kindle. In some cases, I will have them in the physical form, but in most cases, they will be on Kindle. So this book is, as I said, it is a YA, and you can see by the cover, beautiful cover. Absolutely love the artwork on this cover. Actually nailed it really well to go with the theme of the book. So basically what this book is about, it follows this story of Zahara, and she is sort of a loner. She's in her teens at high school. I believe she's in the second last year of her high school, and basically she's very passionate about music and all that sort of stuff, and she lives with her grandmother. She also has taken quite attachment to her father's guitar, and she plays it quite often, and she ends up, meeting some different people throughout her story. Her grandmother is super strict because her mother has passed away when she was younger, and that's why Zahara lives with her grandmother, and her mother, that had passed away, was quite the rebel or wayward child, so to speak, and subsequently, because of her recklessness, she had actually passed away in a car accident when Zahara was younger. Anyway, so Zahara is talking with her priest and stuff like that, and he's talking about life and pointing her in different directions for things that she look at. And at school, her teachers are talking to her about colorism and racism and all that sort of stuff. So she's learning her background and learning why and how come people think that way. And she set a task for over the summer break to actually write an assignment on colorism in Antigua, and basically and around the surrounding areas. So basically she sets out to do that, and in that quest she actually meets a young gentleman and a lot of his friends. They're all around the same age, and his name is Shaka, and basically he really likes her. He's a lot darker than her. She's quite beautiful and striking, and a lot of that is focused in the book, and they're talking about that, and that's to do with the colorism. And basically they end up all deciding that they're going to do this project together, and they're going to do it as a video. And so they're all roped because they've got talents like dancing and singing and all that sort of stuff. And Shaka is quite a rapper, and she plays the guitar really well, and they're sort of building this friendship that is turning into something more, and this is all happening over their summer break while they're doing this play. And so they're filming different things, and they're editing the story, and then the story sort of loses a little bit of focus, in my opinion, and starts going off away from the colorism, and then more to about what the kids are doing and how they're coping and what they're doing in the play and stuff like that. And there's some quite good characters in there. There's a feisty teacher in there that is helping them to do this play, and there's other characters that are brought into it, and then there's this underlying romance that's starting between Zahara and Shaka, and basically that is then highlighted a bit. And then there's a little bit of a moment in the book where you're thinking, oh my goodness, are they related? Because Shaka's dad had passed away, and then Zahara meets the family, and then there's something between the grandfather from Shaka and the grandmother from Zahara, and then Shaka's mum, and there's a little bit of intrigue and mystery in there, and it all gets nicely tidied up at the end, and the book ends really well. I was a little bit frustrated with one of the parts of the ending, because the ending had several conclusions, because there were several different things happening. Now, for me, it was a 3-star read. I really enjoyed it. I got through it fairly quickly. I read probably 3/4 of it, and then I put it down and didn't get back to it for a couple of weeks. But as soon as I picked it up again, it was a great little read. As I said, it only had 280 pages, so it was and that was on Kindle, so it was a fairly short book. Now, a little bit about the author, Joanne C. Hillhouse. I just had to look at her name. She was born in Antigua in 1973, so she's 49 years old at this point in time. She is a writer of literature and fiction, poetry, and non-fiction genres. So that's what she writes in. Musical Youth actually won second prize for the Burt Award, which was the inaugural, I think it was the inaugural award. Let me just look. I've just got my notes here. So Musical Youth placed second for the Burt Award for teen and young adult Caribbean fiction writers. She's also got other novels called Oh God, Dancing Nude in the Moonlight, and several children's books. She's won many. She has many credits to her name, and I'll leave a list of the link down to her website down below, and you can go and check her out. But this book was very surprising to me. It was one that popped up when I do the search for the Read Around the World Challenge. Basically, I just put it into Google, popular books from that country, and then a whole heap will pop up. And then I sort of scroll through and sort of find what I want to read. Now, as you know, I'm not a huge reader of young adult, but I am trying to add more of it into my repertoire, because I'm finding them so like a little bit of a palate cleanser, and they just sort of ease me into a next big book. So I'm trying to break my reading up from heavy content, dark content, fantasy, all that sort of stuff, and breaking them up with some YA stuff. So this was a really good book for that, and as I said, it went really, it didn't go into depth into colorism and racism, and while those topics are in there, it didn't go into depth, but it just touched on them. And it sort of got me thinking, like, we talk about racism all the time, and we know that is, it doesn't matter what country you're in, there is always somebody or some fraction of the community that is racist, and it's something that we're trying to address and trying to make better and stuff like that, and it's going to be a long work in progress. But I never thought about, like, within the communities of like in the Caribbean community, the colorism, so people treating people with lighter skin different than what I do than darker skin, and within their own community. It never occurred to me. I knew that there was problems and stuff like that within communities. I mean, every community has that, but I had not for 1 minute did I ever, and I'm being brutally honest here, does that make me, I don't know what that makes me. It just makes me uneducated about the situation. But it's also made me think a little bit more about the things that people have done in their life. So, for instance, a classic example of Michael Jackson trying to lighten his skin to become white, and to bleach his skin and stuff like that. And it's sort of that this book, like, even though it was a YA book, it is a brilliant book, because it actually made a woman of 50, almost 52 years old, think about colorism for the first time in her life. I mean, I'm just thinking over maybe I have come across it, maybe we did discuss it in school, but I've obviously forgotten about it. But I never once thought about that, and I can, shame on me, really. But at least now I'm aware of it, and I can look a little bit further in it and try and understand it a little bit more. If you've got any opinions on that, be nice, because I'm putting myself on a platter here and saying that I don't know something about it. If you have some good resources that I can read and things like that, please do send me the links. I would love to, or, you know, you might have to private message me over on Instagram because sometimes YouTube will just block those links. But yeah, please do point me in the right direction because I would like to learn more about it. And I'm so grateful that I actually read this book because this has pointed me in another direction to educate myself a little bit further and to help educate my daughters as well, because if I don't know about it, they possibly could know about it because they live in a different time and going to school in a different time. But it'd be quite interesting to have that conversation with them, whether they actually have ever thought about that before. I know my youngest daughter, maybe not so much, but my eldest daughter still living at home, that she is a little bit more branched out with her reading and her education and stuff like that, so she possibly could know, but it's going to be an interesting conversation to have with them. But that is Musical Youth by Joanne C. Hillhouse. If you would like to read this book, I'll leave a link down below I'll leave the name of the book and the author and everything down below for you. And as I said, I read this on Kindle, and I don't know if it's available in the physical form. The only place I could find it was on Kindle. But that's it from me today. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this short review on Musical Youth, and if you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below. And if you're a new viewer or you're a returning viewer and have yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button and a little bell icon. Turn that to all notifications, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any of my future bookish uploads. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to leave me a book emoji down below. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody. I'm off to do some more reading, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.